Tim, thank you so much for coming and helping me cook some pork and
Wow.
teaching me a lot. This is great.
I am here to learn, and thank you for having me.
No, I'm so interested in the diet, but I want to get started with getting our pork loin. So I have a pan on. We're going to go medium-high heat, and we're going to start with rapeseed oil. This gives us a little bit higher smoking point, and then we're going to go ahead and just season our pork. And so season fairly generously. A little salt, and we got a little smoke. We're going to go in the pan away from ourselves so we don't burn ourselves. So I definitely don't burn you. And see, we're really not going to crowd the pan.
I love pork. Huge fan. Do you use tongs a lot of the time when you're cooking?
I personally, a lot of times, will just use a small spatula to flip with.
Like the narrow offset spatula?
Yeah, I like something like this, but it just takes a little time to get used to it.
A little bit more control with the...
Well, we call it training wheels. So what we do is we use both.
Yeah. Okay.
And so, you know, when you're moving something,
yeah,
you know, you give it the training wheels. And so the spatula helps you. You know, you can pick something up with the spatula.
Yep.
The goal was to get this nice and brown, but to not have the pan get black on it, right? But to get that beautiful color on it. And now you can put the pork all the way to this side of the pan if you haven't crowded your pan, and drop your butter in. And let your butter go ahead. Watch this. This is where it will splatter on you when the herbs go in. And now it's important to keep our pan.
And that is, what do we have in the pan here?
Thyme, garlic, and the butter. Yeah. And so now all we're doing really is getting our butter nice and brown.
Yep.
And now we're at medium heat. And we're just going to use this to
baste it. The pan basting, you know, this is, it's something that I had never seen until I actually had a chance to watch a couple of professional chefs. And it really changed how I cook. It is such a simple thing to do, particularly if you're doing it just on the stovetop in 10-15 minutes. It dramatically changes the quality of the food. And it just takes a minute or two of watching the technique in motion to pick it up. Those are my favorite things. I mean, the little inputs with the really huge outputs, and that would be one example. And just a side note on the butter, so I get asked about butter a lot with people who want to follow this slow carb type of diet. Yeah. If you're basting like this, it's really not going to give you any trouble whatsoever. And what people could do if they want to really follow a strict line is use some ghee instead and get a very similar flavor, but not, of course, exactly the same.
Did everyone hear that? Everyone that gives me all the grief for using too much butter. See, most of it is still in the pan, right?
Yeah.
Now the important part is we just let this rest for 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, I want to cut it into some larger pieces because there's two things about slicing meat really thin. One, you're letting a lot more juice run out of it.
Right.
And the second thing is it's going to cool down a lot faster. And if you've cooked it properly, it still will be tender. And I want to let you taste now and see if you can taste the herbs and hopefully some tenderness in there.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, it's perfect.
And all the butter's still in the pan, right? I did.
Look at it.
I stayed within the parameters
so far. It was just a flourish. It's fantastic.
Thank you, Tim.